All right, welcome everybody. So glad that everybody had the chance to come back. Good to see this good-sized crowd here. And I want to say we're going to have a really good day. We're going to have a very effective day for everybody. And I think if you don't have a pen and paper, I would definitely encourage you to get some because I think it's going to be very helpful for you, and I think it'll bless a lot of folks. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show everybody real quickly and talk to you real quickly before I bring up our first speaker, but I also want to say this. There, many of you may have been in this business for a while. I can tell you this, that right now, what our company has done is they have simplified this process. It's honestly what I've been looking for since day one, something where we're on a uniform system of sharing that anybody can do in a very, very simplified way. And also one in which average people can win. You don't have to have any of these sales tactics or sales expertise or anything like that to be able to go out there and win. So it really came down to a brand new system that our company is incorporating that's rewarding people that if you go out there and you share, for example, one of our peak videos, a 2-minute video that anybody would be willing to look at, and you get 25 people to just view that, whether they decide to take advantage of a 7K membership or not, you're going to earn a 7K challenge coin. And we actually have people who are on this Zoom today who've earned that. But I want everybody, the reason why I just wanted to address that is that a lot of times people feel like, well, if I show this to somebody and they don't sign up, I failed. I bombed. And we start turning on ourselves, and mentally that can really be our most destructive thing, is that we're sitting there beating ourselves up over that. And we shouldn't be. We should be very, very happy that we were able to get someone to take a look at the information. That should be our victory, because it's really the more people we can get to see that information, the right ones will just present themselves. It's not about us going out there and having these skills to convince those who don't see it. And so I hate that when that mindset creeps into people. It's the one thing I can't control amongst people is when they get frustrated, their frustration level. And I like to tell them to make it a fascination level. Get fascinated instead. What's fascinating, I can't get anybody to watch my Zoom instead of being frustrated, right? So when we go out there and we have that sort of mindset, we shift our mindset a little bit. I'll tell you what, everybody, the victory is in the exposure. And now that your people are actually going to be able to show that video 25 times, and all we're asking for, if you think about that, is 2 minutes of their time. We're not asking for money or anything else like that. And for those people who want to, I'm going to show you just one real quick thing before I show you a video and get us started. I want to show you where you can find this. If you want to find out exactly how to go about doing this system, this right here is our besttrainingtips.com website. Okay, besttrainingtips.com. If you scroll down, you're going to see right here, right in the very front page, Learn 7K's new simple sharing system, including the Vault Facebook page. You click on this, and this is going to take you right in to see the 2 corporate videos that explain how to go about using this new system. It is outstanding. I've also got a success guide and a tracker for you here, and then I did a video on how to send the video out specifically. So I want everybody to understand everything that you've done up to this point in the past, try and just let it go. If it's good and you continue to have great success with it, keep doing that. But if you've had some things that didn't work for you and you're beating yourself up a little bit, I'm going to ask you just to simply let it go, because anybody can transform yourself whenever. When you make a decision to go out there and say, well, this is it, I'm going to change myself over. And I want you to watch this video. I wanted to play a video I felt would be impactful. This one here, I saw this and it really can show you the power of the human spirit, what you can do if you really put your mind to it. So watch this video, and then we're going to bring on our first speaker. But I want everybody to, again, realize that where you are right now is simply a matter of the decisions that you've made up to this point in time that led you to this point, but they do not define you. Where you're going from this point forward, you can change that in a heartbeat. So let's show you this. Hopefully I can find it here. There we go. But anyway, I want to start it off because I want people to really start envisioning that you can do whatever it is that you want. You can attain whatever it is that you want in life. And I got to tell you that, don't let anybody hold you back. And I will say this very first speaker that we're going to bring up, and I'm going to bring her picture up here. I have to tell you, she's been just leading by example up in Canada, just going out there. And she spoke out at a lot of times when odds were stacked against her, and she went out and made a difference in countless lives. And now we are so blessed to have her making a difference in countless more lives in the Canadian market. What an amazing leader. I'm going to hand it over right now to Kristen Nagel. Kristen, I'm going to ask you to unmute, but I'm also going to give you co-host and take it away from here. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. Of course, you had to play that video before I go on. It always makes me so emotional. But it is so very powerful to see. The power of our mind is incredible, what it can do and where it can take us. And it is really all our belief. My name is Kristen Nagel. I was a nurse of 14 years. And really, I'll try and keep it really quick. My story began in 2015 when my first son was born, and something was pressing on my heart to look into what to feed him. And with that, it was like, what are you going to feed your baby? What are going to be his first foods? It was this huge responsibility of what, I was going to put in his body that was going to shape the foundation for his future. And I bring that up because that was the start of my journey. I was very much an indoctrinated nurse, believed everything that they told me, followed all the rules, did all the things. And then it's amazing what our children can do and how they can change our path and our course if we allow the lessons they bring in to appear for us. So I looked into what to feed him and I realized, wow, I don't know anything. I don't know anything what to feed this little baby. From everything I was told is all not true. So I became really passionate in learning the truth because I thought, I'm a nurse. I'm in this role where people trust me. I'm supposed to be providing education and helping people, especially help people live healthier lives and to get well. And if I don't know this information, what information are they getting and how can I help them? So I ended up going back to school to become a holistic nutritionist. And that's when all the light bulb moments went off for me. I realized in that very short time of my schooling, it was way more in depth than my 4 years of nursing about how to care for the body, how to heal, how to take care of ourselves. And it was all very simple. It was all very simple. And I thought, why aren't we being taught this? Why don't we know this? And it was because they don't want us to know. We're a lot easier to control and manipulate when we are sick, when we don't have the right information, and when we are victims of, our circumstances, and when we can blame others. So when I started to learn this information, I became a very fierce advocate for children's health, starting in 2018. And that was when I was first disciplined by my College of Nurses because I was teaching families about food and about childhood immunizations. And at that time, I was brought into the disciplinary room and I wasn't ready to lose my job or lose my license or lose, financial stability. And I took the slap on the wrist and said, you're right, I'm wrong, I won't do it again. But I remember leaving that room, and this was all wrapped up in 2019. And I told my my union rep that, if they ever do come after my children and try to mandate anything on my children, there's nothing that's going to stop me from speaking out. It was almost like my test run in that 2018. And lo and behold, 2020 came. And I thought, damn it, I wasn't expecting that to be so soon. The words that I had said, there's nothing that's going to stop me. And I remembered that. And I knew that there's nothing that was going to stop me from speaking up for our children. And so I was one of 3 nurses in Canada that spoke up very early on about the harms we were seeing in our community, from lockdowns, from closures, from the masks, from everything. This was even before the mandates came out. And I ended up going to DC, Washington, DC, with another Canadian nurse and some other Americans. We spoke on a Health and Freedom stage on January 6, 2021. Kevin Jenkins, Del Bigtree, Nikki Willis, and it was incredible. And me being a naive little Canadian, I actually didn't know what was happening that day. I don't follow politics. And I came home, news to me, a domestic terrorist for storming and raiding the Capitol building. Had the RCMP at my house, which is the equivalent to the FBI, about wondering, my involvement in all of that. And I was immediately terminated from my job. Prior to that, I was already suspended indefinitely for speaking out and attending and hosting rallies. But I lost my job, lost all financial security. I lost, it was the golden handcuffs that I thought I had of, a nurse will always have a job. It's good income, all these things. And it was gone in an instant because of my values and beliefs that I stood by. I was boots on the ground for a good couple years, being a very loud voice, fighting, advocating. I co-created a organization called Canadian Frontline Nurses, and we did everything we could to bring awareness. I became pregnant with baby girl in 2023, and it was at that time I could no longer fight. I didn't want to put that negative energy out anymore. I wanted to protect her space, this growing life inside of me. And I thought, I can't fight. I can't fight a broken system that I don't want to be a part of, that I don't want to belong to, that I'm not meant to even be a part of. I don't want to fight anymore. I want to create. And so when she was born, it was kind of, I call it my redemption birth. She was born at home, out of the system. And it was the most amazing, hardest thing I've ever done, but the most incredible thing. And it was like, okay, well, what's next? What kind of future are we going to create for you? What can I do? I had faced over $100,000 worth of fines for just speaking out, for speaking in public. And it was like, how am I going to get ahead of this? What are we going to do as a family? At one point, my husband was out of work because of the mandates, and we were on zero income for a bit. So what can we do? And someone tapped me on the shoulder and introduced me to 7K. My husband and I were already buying silver. We knew it was important. We couldn't afford gold. We weren't going in and dropping thousands of dollars on gold, but we're buying little bits of silver whenever we could. And when I saw the opportunity that was within 7K, I thought this was kind of a no-brainer. I was like, okay, this will allow us to easily save silver for our future, for our family, and have an opportunity to finally earn our own gold. And there was this opportunity to earn an income. I thought, well, if this is an opportunity, if this is a possibility to earn a US income through commissions, then why not? And when I did the risks, outweighing the risk, I thought, well, if it works, great. If not, we are still saving solid assets and sound money. And it was really, there was no loss there. There was no risk. Whereas before, many years ago, I had done supplements. And when I look back and I was like, well, what are we left with? A bunch of empty containers that we use for random nails and things in the garage, and a lot of money that went out. But with this, we would always be left with assets that are ours and sound money. And it was a beautiful opportunity. Then I saw the people coming forward, the network, the people's hearts and the stories. And I thought, this is what we're doing here. This is more than gold and silver. This is creating a strong network of solution seeking, forward moving, positive thinking people that want to create, that want to build change in the future, not just fight, but have better solutions for our children. And that's what really keeps me going, especially hearing the testimonials. We have another nurse, same thing, lost her job, all the things that it came on to, part of 7K. She was a widow, and she realized all of a sudden, she was like, oh my gosh. She's like, I just slept. She didn't even realize that she had not been sleeping in years since she lost her husband, because she was worrying every night about how she was going to provide for her children, how she was going to create a future for them, what that was going to look like, all the financial stability. She was living in so much fear. And when she joined 7K as a member, just joining, having that membership, knowing what was available, all of a sudden she slept again, the first time in years. We've had other people tell us, that they no longer feel afraid. They're no longer afraid of the future. They can't believe the ability that they have to save, what it's done for them. And this is why I keep going. It has helped my family tremendously. I look over the past year that I've been with 7K and I think, oh my gosh, like, how do we have those savings as we still continue to dig ourselves out of the hole of the last 4 years of like, how is that even possible? We have a real opportunity here to help. Yes, we get to benefit from this membership ourselves, but it is the stories, it is the community, it is the network. We are creating so much more here, and that is why I will never stop talking about 7K and what is in front of us, what is here, because I never want anyone to experience what we did the last few years, where people felt coerced into making a decision they didn't want to, that went entirely against their beliefs and values. And I don't want anyone to lose an income and not have a backup plan or anything like that. I don't want us to ever be in that situation that we were last year. I want us to all rise above it, to be in better positions. And I want us to have this strong network where we can support each other within 7K. with the member-to-member gifting and all the other opportunities that we have here. I think it's so powerful and so important, and I'm so blessed that someone thought of me and tapped me on the shoulder and showed me this wonderful organization. So that's kind of my story. So thank you very much, everyone.
That's excellent, Kristen. How much free gold have you earned so far?
almost about two ounces.
2 ounces just by referring people to this membership. Is that correct?
And there was a contest involved within the company that I did.
Look at that, 2 ounces of free gold right there, folks. People are out there, man, I don't have any gold. This is your way to do it. Kristen, that was outstanding. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for your courage as well. I mean, that was, you can't, for a lot of people wouldn't do that. And I have so much admiration for you for that. So thank you for standing up for all of us. And we appreciate that. And that was an excellent story. Next person I'm going to go to, everybody, is also an amazing leader out of Canada. And she's been leading by example by just going out there and just sharing this consistently, despite a very, very hectic lifestyle. But she's an amazing leader, again, leading by example. We're very honored to have her on here, and I'm going to bring her on. And this is Lynn Grushka. And Lynn was up there last week, again, just seeing how she's got her hands in so many different things, but still at the same time doing amazingly well here. Lynn, I'll hand it over to you to share a few words.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Mark. So I'll be honest, I'm pretty nervous. I've got my Kleenex here, not only for the tears you made us shed earlier, but probably to wipe the sweat off my palms of my hands. But I'm here in London, Ontario. Also, I've known Kristen actually for many years, and I got a funny story I'll share with you guys after. But where do I come from? So I'm actually from Montreal originally, and I moved to London in 2001 or 2002. Followed my husband here, and I worked in construction. So I have absolutely no financial background, no sales background. I actually got introduced to direct sales and network marketing back in 2006, 2007, around. And I was working a full-time job at the time. I had 2 kids, and I had taken a mat leave. And at the time, I was suffering from depression, and I think what I was lacking was just a community at the time. And I had a friend introduce me to the direct sales industry, and I started a job, and I was loving it. And honestly, my why I do this is really community, family, freedom, and I'm going to tell you about how that all fits in. So I actually left my full-time job so I could be home. And it wasn't until a few years later that I realized the importance of what we have here in this kind of business. I actually have 4 kids now, and here's a couple of my whys. I do this. I don't know if you can see them, but I keep my photo here. My youngest here, that's Matthew. He actually has special needs. He was born about a little over 9 years ago, and we were in the NICU for probably 52, 53 days. And I'm sure, Kristen, you were probably still working in that NICU at the time. So it's funny how we have all these connections. But I didn't realize how much I needed that freedom to be able to do my work outside of a regular 9-to-5 job. And that's where this kind of industry really helped me. I can't imagine being in a 9-to-5 job where, you have to leave all the time to do appointments. My son had needed, he was taking speech therapy, he was taking occupational therapy, physiotherapy. And, that story that you shared, Mark, earlier about that guy, when we first brought Matthew to a neurologist after he was discharged from genetics, he told us he would probably never walk, never talk, and never go to school. Well, I kind of left that appointment saying, watch us. And he is doing amazing. If you follow me on Facebook, I don't post photos of my kids much anymore. I try to keep it very secure for them. But feel free to reach out anytime, and I'm happy to share how he's doing. But then, so life went on. I was working from home, pretty much doing full time in this industry. And 2021 hit. Because of Kristen, I actually knew about the freedom rallies that were happening in our city. And I went out to them. And started building this whole new community because at the time I had lost, I wouldn't say I lost family, but certainly family members were looking at me differently. I lost friends, I lost stuff in the community, and I even lost a lot of business too from speaking out and just being honest. I think it's really important to just be honest with people and authentic and just say what's in your mind. And I guess some people didn't really appreciate that. So I found a whole new community here, and through that, I reconnected with my friend Jay, who's also on the call. And I was feeling very insecure financially because I had donated to the trucker convoy. I couldn't go there because I had my 4 kids here. So I sent money instead. And of course, that list of donations went public, and I had email threats, and that was scary. And then when they said they were going to freeze the bank accounts, I thought, you know what? I need to find something else to secure our financials. And so just at that time, I was looking at crypto, I was looking at silver and gold, and Jay pops this message and says, Lynn, have you looked at, 7K? And I said, oh, please do share. And so, you know what, as soon as I saw it, I joined. I said, this is a no-brainer. I joined, I found a whole new community of people here, amazing, amazing community. And let me tell you, that was 3 years ago. And the funny story I wanted to share with Kristen is, one thing I want to tell you is, first of all, don't prejudge. Invite everybody you know, tell everybody you know, and don't worry about the results. Because I knew Kristen many years ago, and I assumed she knew I was doing this, and I assumed people who knew would just reach out to me. And next thing I knew, Kristen was with 7K, and we're on different teams, but really we're all one big family, right? But it's just funny when you look at that and you're like, damn, I should have asked her. So just make sure you're telling everybody you know. But Mark wanted me to talk about the whys. And, it's really important when you get into this business that you lead from the heart and not with the mind. And I thought of that last night when Mark asked me, can you do a 10-minute talk? And of course, my brain's telling me, oh my God, no, you don't want to talk publicly. My heart's saying, I need to share this with people. I have stuff I can share. And so again, as nervous as I am, I usually say yes to things. I'm a go-giver. I've always been the kind of person that people would call and say, hey, do you know a roofer? Hey, do you know, where should we eat? That kind of thing. And I share that information, right? And this is all this business is about sharing something you love. I never get involved with anything I don't trust or believe in, 100%. And I would never tell my friends about anything that I wouldn't do myself. So you always want to go from the heart and be authentic. And you know what? It's no different than telling somebody a good movie you saw lately, although I'll be honest, I don't watch movies anymore much. So when you're thinking of your why, like, why are we telling people about this? For me, it was a life-changing thing. I found a place where I can actually buy and build gold and silver without needing too much money. I wasn't in a situation a couple years ago where I could just go drop, it's three grand, I think, here for gold in ounces. But this business gave me the opportunity to be able to build it slowly. And that's what I wanted to share with other friends, because I know a lot of friends are in the same situation. Financially, it's been a tough couple of years for many people. And I feel like this business gives the opportunity not only for people to join a membership and be surrounded by like-minded people, but to be able to secure their wealth and build it slowly, even if you can only do it $1 at a time. I believe this opportunity is for everybody. And so that's what I tell everybody, like, just come and take a look at it. This new system that Mark presented, well, it was presented through corporate, but you came and did that presentation last week, Mark, and that was truly amazing. I'm loving this new Vault system. It's so easy to just take a 2-minute video and send it to somebody. And so hopefully we're going to do a little bit more on that later. But what I wanted to share was think about your why. And I think, Mark, you have a slide that you wanted to pop up that we can use for that. And I think, like, your why has to be deeper. I like the saying, find the why that makes you cry. So it's got to have meaning, right? It can't just be, well, I want to make money. For me, I mentioned community, family, freedom. There's also peace of mind. And so I think of, why am I in this business? And I encourage you guys to, take a pen and paper. You don't have to share it. If you want to, you can in the comments. But I want you to just take a look at this sheet, know what you want. Let's go get it. I love that. Take a piece of paper though, and think of, why are you with 7K? Why did you join this membership? Write it down, and then try to dig deeper. If it's not something that has a lot of meaning, you want to ask some more questions, right? So for example, ask yourself, why are you in this membership? It might be because, well, I need silver. Why do you need silver? It might be because I need, financial stability. For me, it's my kids. With my son having special needs, I'm looking at, in the long term, how is my son going to be secure after I leave? And so you want to find the reason that drives you to do this business and to share it with other people. For the business part, absolutely. That's the potential to earn your own assets for me, and also the extra income, the flexibility to do this around my time. But also, why are you sharing it with other people? So I look at, what has it done for me, and what can I give to somebody else? Can I share that opportunity with somebody else to find that security, to find the community, and to really feel secure in what we're doing. So if you have some time, think about why you're in here. And I'd love it if people could share a little bit in the comments if you're feeling brave enough. I don't know if I went past my 10 minutes, Mark, but
No, Lynn, that was absolutely outstanding. I mean, it's excellent. I appreciate your heart. I appreciate your leadership. And I know you were nervous, but that was so powerful to everybody out here. So I thank you for that. And thank you just for who you are. We're honored to have you as part of our family. And it's great to invite everybody here who's listening in to be part of this family too. So thank you so much, Lynn.
Thanks, Mark.
Well, you're very welcome. And I didn't have a chance to put Lynn's picture up, so I'm going to do that as I bring up our next speaker here. And I want to say, take all of this to heart. There's nothing, I got to tell you, I love everything that we're hearing so far from both of these ladies, because it's right from the heart. And that's what this company's all about. That's what really stands out. So that was Lynn. And now we're going to bring up Maureen. And Maureen has just been an amazing leader. Maureen has herself gone through her set of challenges that she's experiencing, but at the same time, she's been an incredible leader, going out there and just leading the way. She has a long experience in this industry of network marketing. And, as what we had learned before, it's important that, as to what Lynn had just said, for us all to establish our whys. And if you do want to put them in the chat, we'd love to hear whatever is your purpose, what's driving you. But now it's time to put it into action. You've got to somehow have that why, as Lynn was saying, because it's going to be the driving force. There's no boss telling you to go to work. But now, once you're getting into action, it's now I've got to sit there and I've got to put together the people that I'm going to be going out and bringing this information to. And it's a mindset, and there's a methodology that works more effectively than others. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to step aside and I'm going to bring up Maureen Faulkner. Maureen, I have you out here. I'm going to ask you to unmute. I'm going to give you co-host as well. So take it away.
I'm so excited to be here this morning with you. I really appreciate what Kirsten and Lynn both said. Really inspiring. I love the video that you showed, Mark. I think that was totally inspiring to all of us. When people don't believe in themselves, it's hard to do anything. But sometimes just when you have someone else who believes in you, that can be the thing that changes your whole life. And I love the stories of what these ladies have shared with us. I want to share one thing before I get into what Mark asked me to talk about today, and that is my why. when I started with 7K, my why was really simple. Curtis Harlan said to me, I've just gotten involved in something. I want you to take a look at it. I've been in the industry much longer than most of the people I'm looking at have been alive. I started when I was 19. Next week, I will be 76. And I was in a company, worked with Mark and Danielle and Kathy Guzzo and some other people. And I was really just burned out. I was burned out from people not being transparent and just tired of what was going on. So when I got the call, I said, I don't want to build a business. I'm old. I'm gonna quit working. I'm gonna retire. But I want silver and gold. And so I did buy a membership just to get a few coins. And then I started looking at 7K a little more closely. But the main thing I want to share with you this morning is when I went there and I saw I wanted silver dollars. I have 32 grandchildren. I'm concerned about the economy in the US. I'm concerned about whether our dollar is going to be able to buy what we need to buy as we come up for elections. And all of that was why I joined 7K, why I started getting first a couple silver dollars, then a few tubes of silver dollars. And I started getting interested in the collectibles. But what I want to share with you before I get into what's really important that he asked me to talk about is that everybody's why changes. About every 6 months, if you look around you, everybody's life changes. Something happens. Somebody gets sick. Somebody gets divorced. Somebody loses a job. Something happens. So what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about is starting your business with a solid list. But for my why, 8 weeks ago, my why changed. I was comfortable in 7K. They have been fabulous to me. This company has been better than I could have ever believed it would be. It has given us tens of thousands of dollars in silver and gold that we never would have had without it. It has given us relationships. My why was to get that silver and gold. Now my why has changed because I have a granddaughter who was diagnosed 8 weeks ago with a very aggressive form of cancer. And I have spent the last 7 weeks in Houston. A couple things I want you to know about that is that if you have to make a big change in your life, like get on an airplane, think you're going to Houston for maybe a week or 2 weeks to get a biopsy and a surgery, and end up finding out that for 9 months, we're going to have to stay in Houston and have treatments and surgery. That has completely changed our lives and changed my why with 7K, because I need to help my family be able to support 2 households and all the emotion we're going through with a 21-year-old who has a very, very hard form of cancer. 7K is going to help us do that. 7K keeps sending me checks because I invested. So what I want to tell you about 7K that you need to know right now, if you haven't done it, you need to be organized and you need to build a list. And I have had many people who have had trouble organizing themselves. They've tried to organize themselves in different formats. I'm going to tell you, I'm a basic girl. I'm known in 7K for being very low tech, very high check. I appreciate 7K for that. But I have a system that I've used for uh, all the time that I've been, the 5 decades that I've been in this business, where I use 2 notebooks all the time. I use a red notebook and a green notebook. My red notebook is stop and write it down or you'll never remember to do it. A green notebook is these are my people. This is my income. This is where I keep track of what I'm doing. And this is where my list is. So even though you might have a great system that you use for building your list and your business, I suggest that you write it down. I also suggest to you that sometimes when people are helping you start, they don't realize that you must have a really solid list, a good list, a long list. I've heard people say, well, let's just start out and think of the 5 people you want to partner with. And yes, every single person on your list is a person you want to partner with. You want them to partner with you, and you want to partner with them to educate them to understanding why 7K is important to them. And so as you build this list, I'm going to ask you not to judge anybody, because who would have judged me? Curtis Harlan knew me, he worked with me, he knew I could work hard. But I was 72 years old. He could have very easily said, Maureen's old, she's been in this long time, I'm not even going to bother to call her. Okay, don't judge people before you know their situation. All you're trying to do, when people ask me, what do? I educate people on gold and silver. You notice I didn't say I sell it. So who do I want to help educate and find out what they know about gold and silver? Who can I get a referral from? So don't judge people. Don't limit your thinking. Don't limit your list. Start thinking about who you can put on that list. And please, because they told you no, don't cross them out. I just told you 2 months ago, my life was in a totally different place. I was not up at the hospital 3 times a week. But I can still run my 7K business. You don't know where people are at. So what do you want? You want a list of 100 people minimum. So you need a notebook to write it down. When you start talking to a person, give it some space. So when I talk to Diane Graber, I say, hey, Diane, how you doing? I'm writing down what she's told me. I'm writing down what I've sent her. I'm writing down what's happening, like with Lynn's son, so that I can build relationships and I can have another conversation. That next conversation might be tomorrow, or it might be 2 months from now when I check back in with her. Unless somebody says to me, Maureen, I hate it. I don't want you to ever talk to me again. Go away. Then I'll go off my list. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you too that when you get your list, I want you to divide it into 3 categories. People who look up to you. Those are the easy ones, guys. Those are the ones that you'll keep calling, and you'll forget about your peers because those are harder. Wow, it's hard to call somebody that maybe you were in another company with and they're at the same level as you. And 3, those people you look up to. In gold and silver, they may be the ones with the money. Remember, I said don't judge them. Don't say they have too much money or too little money. If someone really sees a way to get out of a situation, they'll find the money. If I had a Mercedes in my driveway right now and it was brand new and I said for $1,000 you can buy it and you live across the country, but you have to give me $1,000 tomorrow, I bet you'd find a way to get to my house and get that Mercedes out of my driveway. So don't judge people. Make sure you know if they're where they stand. Do they look up to you? Do you are they your peers, or do you look up to them? Also look at their geographics, because you want to know what time are you going to call them. I think anybody that got on this morning's call is probably willing to spend 10 hours a week. It's 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's 500 hours a year talking to people about 7K. Your list is how you're going to do that. You can add to your list all the time by having people give you referrals. I can tell you something for all the guys on the call. I can tell you something that you may not know. Women do not like to tell you no 3 times. So if you've gotten them to tell you no twice, the 3rd time you're going to say to them, well, you know what, Kristen? I know that you're really busy right now and you have this cause that you're working towards, but I also know you know some people. Who do you know that could use an extra $250 or $500 a week or a month? Who do you know that maybe just lost their job? Or who do you know that's looking to invest in some assets because they're afraid of what's going on with the Canadian dollar? So they will give you a referral because they don't want to tell you no again. Put that on your list. Put where you got it from. And then when you call them, you can say, you know what? I was talking to Kirsten today and she told me that you had just lost your job. In the interim of getting another job, I would love to talk to you about something that I'm doing. What do you know about gold and silver? Okay. So it's so important to have this list, and it's so important that it's a big list, because what gives me confidence is when I have a big list, I always have confidence that I have somebody else to call, somebody else to talk to, somebody else who might know someone to help me with my business. So make that list a priority that you add to every single week in your business. This isn't old-fashioned, guys. This is connection. This is communication. This is relationships. This is important to your business, and that won't go away. If somebody tells me they're too busy and I call them back and I say, hey, Lynn, I talked to you a couple months ago. Just want to let you know I'm still doing gold and silver. I've been able to get some assets, and I'm wondering if you're in a little better position than you were before. No, I'm not. I'm still struggling right now, and I'm still looking for a job. Well, as I told you before, we have something that you could do 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, or 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, and it might help you make an extra $250 to $500 a week. I'd love to partner with you, Lynn. So with that list, you get the confidence. Oh, they're not interested right now. Some will, some won't. So what next? And so I want you to think about that. I also want you to think about the fact you can work all the time that you have available. You have 20 minutes to sit down and do it. If you've broken things down to geographics, when it's Pacific time might be a great time for you. But if you get You want to get a hold of the people on the East Coast. That might be a different time of day that you're thinking the people where you live are at work or haven't gotten up yet. I work with Hawaii. I work with the East Coast. And for me, that makes it really easy because I can look at the time zones and I can work my list that way. I think I want to talk to you about the people that you put on your list. Tell me I've got a couple more minutes because I didn't check the time, Mark.
We
Do I
only
have
got
a
like
couple
one more minute, Maureen.
Okay. I want you to remember the people that you put on the list is everybody. Okay, you're not judging. You're looking at people. Nobody has too much money. Nobody has not enough money. Nobody is too old. Nobody is too young. Every person that you talk to knows 100 people that you don't know. Do you think your gardener is going to be a gardener for the rest of his life? Do you think your hairdresser wants to stand on her feet for the rest of her life? Do you think the person who is in your bank wants to do that same boring job for the rest of their life? Be big in your thinking. If they're breathing, they are a candidate for 7K. It's really true. All they have to be is taking a breath. Don't eliminate them. They're not too young. They're not too old. They're not too tired. If they have something exciting to do, make that list grow. Those of us who have built big businesses have grown a list that continues to grow every single day we're in business. And thank you, Mark, for
Excellent.
asking me to join you.
Well, thank you, Maureen. And again, our prayers go out to you. We admire your strength and your perseverance and everything about you. So, and your education, what you've just given to everybody is invaluable. So thank you so much. And again, we extend our prayers out for full healing. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, you're welcome. And I want to say, obviously we're a family here, everybody, and we all care for each other. So I know there's other people probably have family members out there who are hurting, and prayers go out to each one of you. We want everybody obviously we'd love to have everybody best health as we can. But I'm going to step aside because we have a very, very special guest here, everybody. This gentleman, I have to tell you, I've been in the industry of relationship marketing for a long time. I've never seen a CEO who is a servant leader like we have with Jason Arfman. This gentleman goes out of his way he's taken three-way calls from me while he's been on vacation. And where do you find that? And I just have to tell you, he's been leading the way here. I'm going to step out of the way and I'm going to ask him to come on and share his words on this Saturday morning. Thank you so much, Jason, for joining us. And hand it over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mark. And thank you, Maureen, for that great training. Honored to be here with all of you. And absolutely, guys, I just want to share something. First off, Maureen, blessings come in a community, right? I remember going through it with my daughter and just feeling the support and the comfort and everything from the community of 7K family is absolutely amazing. So we want you to know that we're going to support you wherever we can as well. And so, Mark, I appreciate the words there. I think the reason why we enjoy doing what we're doing is because we are passionate about our mission. I want to share some things with you guys really quickly that maybe some of you haven't had the success you've had lately because maybe there's some things missing in what you're doing in your business. For example, it could be a lack of knowledge. It could be a lack of, you just like Maureen said, maybe you haven't built the list that is living, breathing, and ongoing. You're meeting new people every day, right? And finding the right person. Maybe what it is consistency in your business. Maybe it's like you've tried it for a short time, but you haven't tried it consistently over time. And maybe that's the part that's missing. For some people, they're missing the confidence, right? They're missing, why is it so important that my family members buy gold and silver? Why is it so important that my kids and my relatives and my coworkers, if we don't have that conviction, sometimes we just kind of, I'm good. I've got it for myself, but we don't have that conviction ourselves that everybody around us needs it. You know, we have a conviction here, even just in our little in Idaho Falls, Idaho. We want as many people getting gold and silver in Idaho Falls, Idaho as possible, so that our community is blessed. And so we have that. We've got, you know, leaders building here in Idaho Falls, Idaho, and we love seeing the community grow. I want to just share with you really quickly. I want to share with you some big vision things that we're seeing, and there's some alarming things out there and some things we just got to look at that really help with conviction, right? That we are doing the right thing, and that by being consistent, by building a living, breathing list, by building your business, we're doing this long term. 7K is going to be here long term. We're committed for the long term, and we're doing it the right way. And yet, is there things that maybe we hear out there in the world that maybe go against what we're doing every single day, you guys? And I hope that doesn't shake your belief in what we're doing and how we're helping people. You know, we have a goal here of creating 20,000 thousandaires. All right. That's our passion. We're not here, you know, you see a lot of companies that are out there and they're like, yeah, we want to make 20 millionaires. That's not our focus. We want to make 20,000 thousandaires, meaning 20,000 people making over $1,000 a month and collecting assets. How many of you have enjoyed watching the testimonials that have come through on the vault, right? I have it has been like awesome to hear stories that I haven't even heard yet that have come out of the woodworks of people saying, just by being a member with you guys, I've accumulated X in assets and I love what I'm doing. So let me share with you really quick. I'm just gonna, I didn't have time to put this on a deal. So hopefully you guys, Mark, is there a way to make it so mine's big? Just so I can show them a few things here. I'm going to show them in the camera. I don't know if there's a possibility to do that, but if you guys, this is a post from the FTC site on Twitter. Okay. And I'm not trying to go against the FTC here, but it was just alarming to me what I saw on here. And so this is an alarm button that they're saying, and it says, did someone tell you to buy gold bars to protect your money? That's the question. And right under it, it says it's a scam. This is coming from the FTC. And yet we have a gentleman that is coming in Monday that bought gold bars from us 5 years ago. And he recently just lost his business. His business folded. He's coming in, you guys, he bought kilo bars back in the day. He did very, very well. He never even he built a very small network, was making, you know, a $250 check here and there. And he was using that to buy more silver and gold. He's bringing those kilo bars in at a $50,000 profit per bar that we're buying back from him. And he, with tears in his eyes, he's like, thank you to 7K. And he even said, his exact words, he says, thank you, God, that somebody told me about I should be buying gold and silver on a consistent basis. And he goes, I wasn't a big builder, but he goes, I might have to do this as a business now. But he's selling his gold back to just live for a while and to get some comfort there. But 50,000 a bar in profit on top of the gold price that he's getting, he is like ecstatic. And yet we've got the Federal Trade Commission that's telling him, if somebody tells you to buy gold bars, it's a scam. Now, I'm sure what they're doing is they're trying to warn against the bad players in the industry. And there are some, right? They overcharge for bars, or they, they really go after elderly, or they do things that they're not supposed to be doing. They use scare tactics to have people buy, and they tell them it's a short-term return. And you guys, everything we're doing here at 7K, I believe we are blessing people's lives. I was just in Jackson Hole. We have and we were just visiting there the other day, and I met with a gentleman that he'd been in 7K early on. He goes, I started in 7K, and then I just stopped. And he goes, biggest regret I have is I stopped. And he said, I can't believe I'm looking around the world today. And he goes, I just can't believe, like, he's like, up here in Jackson, billionaires are pushing out millionaires. And there's a bigger divide than ever before. I see there's some people here from Nicaragua, right? I lived in Nicaragua for a while. Nicaragua, the biggest challenge Nicaragua's had is you had the wealthy and then you had the poor, and there was really no middle class. And and what we know, you guys, that's why we are passionate about helping 20,000 thousandaires. We can help so many people get ahead in life by making 20,000 thousandaires than any company on the planet that's passionate about making 20 millionaires. And so I want you to know that's been our focus from the beginning. We're a champion of the little guy. We're a champion of the average household. We're a champion of the non-professional being able to win. And what you can do here, lock arms with the leaders. I see leaders I see Diane's on here, Maureen and Mark and Kristen up in Canada. I'm probably missing some. Just because the list is so big here, I can't see everybody, but you guys lock arms with them. And really, this is built on a community. And we are helping people every single day to win in an asset referral marketing model that is second to none. And I'll tell you, we're just getting started. What's happening right now in 7K is amazing. Okay, we're excited. Now, have we seen some things happen coming into this year? Absolutely. You guys, it's an election year. The economy, they're talking about recessions. I was just in Europe. They're in a recession. In multiple parts of Europe, they're in recession, right? And it was awesome to watch as I pulled into Vienna, Austria to do this meeting, right? They had national warnings. They'd been raining for 3 days straight. Everything was wet. When we pulled in, everything was raining. The government was on the radio saying, everybody stay in their households, don't go out. I was really nervous. I'd flown all that way, and I was thinking we were not going to have a soul in our meeting. We'd set up for several hundred people to attend. And I said, we might have to take down some chairs because I don't know if people are going to show up in this rain. It's starting to build and the rivers are starting to get there. And I'll tell you guys what, we had the biggest turnout. We were pulling chairs. We didn't have enough room, and we got in trouble by the hotel because they said we overstacked the room. So we were going against fire code, and we snuck in 10 more people just at the last minute without them seeing. And we were just really quiet about it. Right. So what I know, you guys, we have an amazing opportunity here to be one of the most influential companies out there, helping people find hope through getting out of the currency and getting into real money. And I love this. This is our US dollar today. And this is from 2017. And I happen to have one, you guys, right here that is from this says from 1957. Okay, it's a lot different. See at the top, it doesn't say reserve note, it says silver certificate. It is totally different. And at the very bottom of it, it says $1 in silver payable to the bearer on demand. Anybody who's holding the other one, it's not a silver certificate, and it says nothing about 1 ounce of silver to the person on demand. Imagine if you can take this and get 1 ounce of silver. It's amazing, right? A currency, money, paper money that is backed by gold and silver is real money. It's just the way we transact. But you guys, we haven't been doing that since 1974. We've got a massive opportunity to help people understand that. The art of buying gold and silver and growing a community of people behind it is the whole key here. Do not lose your focus. Do not listen to all the chatter that is out in the world saying, if somebody tells you to buy gold bars, it's a scam, right? I mean, this is just craziness that is happening out there. We know we've got the best thing for our members. We allow gold and silver bullion at some of the most competitive prices in the world. We've got gold and silver companies that are mad at us because we sell at some of the most competitive prices in the world. We eliminate the games and the gimmicks of having high requirements. We've got numismatics that are second to none. We're changing the world in numismatics and technology, with the whole speed of sound coin that guys, 18 dies were broken just to figure out how to mint that coin. We're there. We're using technology and Sound Money Wallet in Stack and Sell to help empower you and let this 7K community win at all levels. And we absolutely love that. And we're just getting started, you guys. We're working on big things to change the industry, to change technologies, to be more efficient, to be different in the way we do business, and help average households and non-professionals win, creating 20,000 thousandaires. That is our mission. We're passionate about it. That is 100% where we get all of the energy we're doing, is we love hearing your stories. So you guys go out and make that a goal. Be a thousandaire. Make 1,000 plus a month in 7K. That's my challenge to you today. Get a plan together. Stay consistent. Get the list. Work at it every single day. You'll be amazed at what you can do to have your household be a thousandaire in 7K. And you guys, I know it'll bless your life. It'll help you in financial ways that you've never known. And we just, we love what's happening, you guys. We're bringing hope to the hopeless. We're bringing significance and winning to those who want to do it with us. So thank you guys for being on this call. I hope this helped you guys get a little bit of that confidence, of that conviction, of that wherewithal to follow through with this plan of what Maureen just talked to you about, is making a list, right? You're doing it because we are on a mission to help people. You're on a mission to make your household a thousandaire. What will that do for your family? And I want you guys to know everybody can do it. And when we do it together, it's a lot more fun, right? And so thank you guys for being on this call today. I hope this has helped. I hope this has helped your mindset. I hope this has helped your conviction in sharing and knowing that you don't have to know everything under the planet to share this. And one last thing I want to share with you. I love what Maureen said. Many people will tell you no. I guarantee you, we just had an individual that enrolled that said they said no 15 times. And now they're growing a team. They're so excited. They got their first instant gold pay. And that's the spark that ignited that person. They were addicted to getting instant gold pay and then getting their first coin and getting their first free loyalty coin and then getting their first $250 check and then their first $500 check. You guys, this is we can help everybody here, and everybody can win at 7K. That's what is the most amazing thing about our compensation plan and the model we have built, is it helps the masses. So thank you very much, Mark, for having me. Thank you to all the leaders who are on here. We love you guys. We believe in you 100%. The future is extremely bright in 7K as we build towards this mission. So thank you for having me, Mark.
Thank you, Jason. And I just want to mention too, the best part about this, everybody, is that as Jason mentioned, we want to go out there and create 20,000 thousandaires. But here's the key. The only way you win at this, because you can make up to 75,000 a week here, the only way you win is by helping the people on your team succeed. There's nothing better. I want people on my team to surpass me, because if that happens, it's only going to benefit me. So it's a giving mentality. Thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday, Jason, for being here. We appreciate that tremendously. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. And if you want, you're welcome to stay on if you like, but I know you probably got a lot of stuff on your plate.
No, I appreciate it, you guys. God bless everybody.
All right. Thank you, Jason. My gosh, all those great points I just made, all muted. Unbelievable. I was just saying the key point behind that guy getting out there and doing that guy right there has impacted millions of lives already. Because think about this, that video has been viewed by millions. So he gets out there, just starts dancing. And just because he did that, now that movement is going around the world. So that's pretty incredible. And so I would say the biggest thing we can do to avoid falling into that trap is worrying about what other people think. Don't worry about what other people think. You've got the gift here that you're giving them. And you might sometimes have people sometimes very adamantly reject your ideas, but you cannot let that get to you. So I would just simply tell you, you have a good cause, a good purpose here. And so the next person that I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to see if I can get I've got so many things open on my screen, so I'm going to try and bring up the slides here with the folks. All right. So the next person I'm going to bring up, I can't even find that on my screen here. I know I'm screen sharing, but it's somewhere on here. And I know that you can see it. It's showing Maureen, but I'm going to stop share because I can't find it. But anyway, the next person I'm going to bring up is, and then I got to tell, oh, here it is. Right. So let me do this. We just saw Jason come in there, and now the next person, Diane's going to come in a little bit later. She had to step aside. But I want to mention a few things about Laura. Laura, I got to tell you, she saw this. She was introduced by Tony, and Tony's on here too, by the way. She's over in Ireland. So congratulations, Tony, for joining us from all the way over in Ireland, coming on for this. I appreciate that loyalty. But she introduced Laura, and I have to tell you, Laura and I knew each other from a previous company, and to see her just go at this thing and not sit there worry about what other people thought. She is the perfect example of someone who just understands, has belief in her conviction in what she's doing, and went after this. And she has seriously, through her efforts, gone out there and impacted countless lives. And, you know, very, very fortunate to have her as one of the people who was up in Canada with us. I mean, she's traveling across Canada right now with her team and just going out there and blessing people. So with that, I'm going to step aside and bring on Laura Riddick. Thank you so much, Laura, for coming on, and I'll hand it over to you.
Oh my gosh, I thought I was crying at Kristen and Lynn's and Maureen's, all the stories, but now I'm crying because that video, like, you guys, I'm the shirtless dancing guy. Like, I am. Like, honestly, in my heart of hearts, it makes me feel like so happy to see that video over and over again. So, man, this couldn't have been more tied together. Like, all of the messages that everyone said, Kristen totally standing up, and then she's a solution seeker. And Lynn's story, like, it's breaking my heart. And I love you, Lynn, and I met you on the weekend too, so that was incredible. I love Maureen. Maureen, so many prayers for you, and just, I'm so sorry you're going through that right now. And Jason, like, oh my gosh, I'm following Jason and Mark again. That's weird. But like Big Vision and Thousandaires, and like have taken so many notes I can't even find my own notes anymore. I have slides, I do. And I'm gonna try to share them because you guys, you have to see how connected this meeting has been so far. So I'm gonna try to share this and tell me if I'm doing it properly, because I'm not great at sharing. I'm also not great at PowerPoint, but honestly, you don't need to know anything to figure things out. You just have to go do it. So let me just go back onto the Zoom. And my screen sharing, does it look really messy?
It says it started screen sharing, but it hasn't shown anything yet. It's just a black screen.
Okay, perfect. So it's trying to come up?
Yes, looks like it.
Okay, good. So I'll just try to get ready and then hopefully it will pop. But you guys, my first slide, oops, what am I showing?
Oh, now it's showing the peak share. Go back.
Okay, good. I'll go back. This is the slide I chose to show because it was the closest thing I could find to the coin that's the wave, you guys. Like, and Mark, your backgrounds for all of the speakers are a gold wave. Like, that's what we're doing here. We're starting a wave. Like, we're getting our momentum. We're getting our feet. We're figuring it out. So back to Lynn's conversation. Remember why you came to 7K, even if it was 5 minutes ago, right? It's going to change. But why did you show up here? So I showed up here because I was working in IT for a financial institution, and I can see the new regulations changing the background. I can see all the weird data they're sending and all the private information that's going into all of those extracts. It's not funny, you guys. This is serious. I'm a single mom of 4 kids. I've been on my own for 18 years. I've always had something going on the side. I did not want to do a business like Maureen. I did not want to do this as a business. I just wanted to take care of my family. So you guys, it changes over time. So just pay attention to why your why changes and then who else you can reach out to. Not everyone's coming to play. It's true. Like, you're going to get a ton of no's and it doesn't even matter. Just go out there and share the message with conviction. Like, just go out and do it, right? Family, friends, peers, they might not see it right away, but they're going to come. So you need to tell them, right? You need to tell them. And I would say almost you need to warn them and provide the solution so that it gets in their head so that they can circle back to you later and be public, be out there, show everyone you're doing this and you're continuing to do it, right? My best buddy from my last company, he's here on this call. I'm so happy. His name's Zed, and I love him so much. He literally was the first person to come dance with me. And I love him. Like, he's amazing. So you guys, like, just keep going. And you can do this. So again, with the confidence thing, you can do this. It doesn't matter who you were yesterday. You just need to decide you're going to go do this, and you're going to share with a bunch of people, and you're going to make this thing happen. Like, honestly, let's just put it this way. I know I'm not a nobody, but I could easily say, I just did my thing. I, survived a divorce. I raised my kids on my own pretty much. I escalated in my career. I got a house. I achieved some accolades and some great things with my last company, but it was nothing compared to this. Like, you guys, it was nothing compared to this, because we are starting a movement where the product is gold and silver, and we're going to take care of our families, and we're going to take care of our communities. And Yuri Melendez is on here. We're going to take care of our businesses. We're going to group together and create the infrastructure we need to support each other in the future. Like, it's way, way bigger. The vision is massive, and it's global. Don't think about your immediate friend circle. Think about those 100 people that every single one of your contacts knows. Think about them. Think about them getting the message. So, you know what? You're not going to do this alone. This is not a singular game. This is, somebody gets the party started, somebody else joins, and then a whole bunch of people pile in. You guys, we haven't even reached the point where a whole bunch of people pile in yet. We're just like picking and choosing. Don't pick and choose. Get the message out. The right people are coming, and we're going to help you with them. Like, we are going to help. And this is my mission. So in 2021, when all the craziness was happening, like, I believe in medical freedom, I'll just say it out loud. But my kids weren't listening to anything I had to say. And they went and all participated in that medical experiment. I won't harp on it, but suffice to say, I had to find my others. I had to find my best friend, who is the person that would, stand up for me anytime for any reason. And I laid on my floor and I cried out to God, and I said, where are the others? I need community. I've been working at home in my corner of my living room for 4 years by myself, and I'm an extrovert, and it was awful. And then all this other stuff was happening. People have reasons why they find us, right? I found this community because I didn't want to be alone. I didn't realize that's what I was looking for. I thought I was just taking care of my finances, but now I have the others. So I know we've talked about this. I'm not going to go nuts and bolts on this thing, but just a visual so you can see. This is something I'm participating in, and I highly recommend everyone do it. Sorry about Ryan's face in the corner of the screen. It's really hard to catch a screenshot on video, so if he sees this, I'm sorry. The peak video is less than 2 minutes long. So I literally say to people, hey, can you watch this video for me? And yes, I ask for favors. Can you just watch it? And if you have time to give me feedback, I'd love to know what you think. And I know that's not like the ideal way to do it, but I have over 112 people in my system. I've passed 50 contacts that have watched the video. I'm doing the thing because there was a prize. And you know what? It's okay to be taunted by a prize. But you know what? It's getting the activity done. I'm like Maureen, I have a big notebook in front of me, and I'm writing everybody down on a list that I've shared this video with, because then I'll go back, see who watched it, and start another follow-up, because this times well with the beginning of the year and our Gold Rush Challenge, which is where I first got started. So literally this is a cyclical thing, and you can see these little circles. It's a cycle. So we peak them, they watch the video, we add them to this really cool group called The Vault, and that's what the visual looks like, the Vault in Facebook. And we tag them and we send them a message, hey, I've added you to this group. This group has really cool information that's not about business necessarily, but about how members feel about this membership that they have. And I think it's awesome. I love it. And then we bring them to share a longer video. And then once they sign up, and I love three-way. See three-way right here? I love this three-way call. Three-way call is where you're going to get them on the phone or on a Zoom or on a WebEx or WhatsApp chat, or Kristen uses WhatsApp chats and they're amazing. So get them on a chat. with somebody else besides you, because they're not always going to listen to you. It's third-party validation. And then once they sign up, we're going to put them in another group that's for members, right? I just want to show you this image. These are the images that I hold in my brain as we're building across Canada. We're starting this wave. So I started in BC in Langley. I joined Tony in the business. Tony was posting on social media about gold and silver. I heard from somebody else completely, 2 people on a health podcast. They were talking about gold and silver after I'd asked God, what am I supposed to do? This is weird. Things are shifting. I don't know what to do. And gold and silver kept coming up. So I reached out to Tony because Tony was visual. She was dancing out there on her own too, as far as I was concerned. I didn't know that she had a big team built already. But I said, give me your link. I'm going to get started. So that's what we're doing. Tony and I traveled. Janine and I are traveling in Winnipeg. We went to London. I loved London. It was so great to meet everybody there. So the peak video is that 2-minute video. And this is the steps. We're adding them to the vault. We're tagging them and we're messaging them. Be sure to message them. Be sure to stay in contact with them. This is what the vault page looks like on Facebook. We're going to share them the longer video. We're going to give them the link. You want them to always have your link. Get your link from your website. Find out how if you don't know, because you want them to be ready whenever they make the decision. Sometimes they make it in the middle of the night when they can't sleep after they heard what you told them. So you want them to be like, get it on their phone, send it in their email, make sure they know they can connect with you whenever they want to. And I did this here by 3-way call, by phone, by Zoom, by WhatsApp. I'm actually preferring video calls because they can see body language. So if you can organize a video call with people, that's amazing. And then you want to get them in that members Facebook group because there's so many places you can get information, like it can be overwhelming. So I would say first get into the corporate ones so you can see what the corporate rhythm looks like. And then you're going to have a bunch of different team ones you're going to want to participate in to just ask questions, always be able to ask questions. I love this. Sorry, I have to go back. This is Tony. This is Karina. This is Nada. This is Danielle. This is Christine. This is Sylvia. Like, I just love who comes up because these are my people. And then we want to launch. So launch looks like go back and do it again. And this is the coin we win for the 25 contacts that watch. Back to square one. Remember why you came, even if it was 5 minutes ago, because your why changes. No matter every time you have new activity, every time you need a new person, they're adding to your why are you doing this? And you want to fuel yourself with the energy of that crowd, right? And this is how we start the wave, right? I can't even believe this. The background for your screenshots was the gold wave. I love it so much. Simple nuts and bolts thing. On the left side of your menu, we've only talked about 2 boxes really, training and share links. Share links looks like this when you click into it. And if you want to see a really good presentation of this system, you want to go to training, weekly update calls, and go grab this one. This is the one I watched a couple times over just so I was like on message with these slides. So I talk really fast, but you know what? It's about that guy, starting the dance in the field. And he's right. It's not about the leader. It's not about the leader. The leader just got it started. And it's not about you either. It's about all of the people we're going to help, right? And at the pizza place we were at last weekend, on the wall, there is this little thing behind, Mark and Tim gave us some presentations that were just amazing. We love that you came up. But it said, life is short and insecurity is a waste of time. So believe in yourself first and do the things so you gain the confidence. We've got a lot of people to help. Thank you.
Absolutely. Fantastic, Laura. This is such great stuff, everybody. I just got to tell you, I am so impressed with every single one of the speakers and trainers on here today. Absolutely outstanding. I hope you're all taking notes because this is pure gold. And you're getting this for free. Now, I will tell you this. In 3 weeks, we're going to be having 3 weeks from now, or I can't remember specifically, the 26th of October, that Saturday, we're going to be having a big event corporate-wise. You want to register for that event in your back office. It's $10. And I would even recommend, if you got people in your local area, get together as communities and go watch that together. Watch it like one house and really build the synergy in that room together. And so thank you again, Laura. That was absolutely outstanding. And so I'm going to be bringing up our next speaker. And I have to tell you again, another incredible speaker, another servant leader as well. And let me find my pictures here so I can bring up the photo. And I will say, everybody, that Annie has just been doing an amazing job going out there and putting together presentations and trainings and so forth. And just really, as you know, anybody that follows her lead will be doing this system exactly the right way. She does it in terms of just plugging into what is proven, what works, and she's just been an amazing leader overall and building a big team here at 7K. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to you, Annie. And Annie Mahler, everybody, please give it up. Well, you can't because you're all muted, but they're giving it up silently for you.
Silent. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set a timer. So, wow, the acoustics in this room are kind of weird. I'm in an old farmhouse in Maine, so hence my background is a little different from usual. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Thank you for being here. Great training, Laura. Everybody's been doing a wonderful job. And I'm happy to be digging in with you guys on one of the most powerful tools in building a 7K business that I've learned, which I did learn directly from Mark and Danielle. And that is using third party. So Laura touched on it a little bit. I'm going to go into more detail. But first, I'm just going to tell you that when I started in 7K, I knew nothing about gold and silver. I had never owned any gold and silver. And also, I'm an artist. I'm an actor and singer. I knew some things about money, but I didn't even know what fiat was until 7K. So if I can build a full-time income with a business that's about gold and silver and money, like anybody can. Okay. I also am bad at math. So the reason I'm saying that is because part of the reason I could is because of the using third party and trusting the system and following the system. Because when you use third party, you can start making money pretty much instantly. And then you also are learning as you go. Okay. So how it works is basically, again, I knew nothing and I just showed people the information and then I brought in a third party. So there are a couple of ways to do this. One of which Laura touched on with a chat on WhatsApp or on Facebook Messenger or whatever. That's a great way to do it. I mostly at the beginning and still actually to this day do it on Zoom or phone. Okay. So let's say people have gone through the early stages of the system that Laura talked about, then ideally I would be having somebody on a Zoom with me and looking at the full presentation or some follow-up information. And then I will say something like this: what did you like best about what you just saw? Or something along those lines, and then see how they respond. If they are negative, you can say, thank you so much for taking the time to look at this, and either change the subject if they're your friend and you still want to talk to them, or say, have a great day. Do not bring on a third party if they're negative. That's just a waste of time. Okay. However, if they say something positive, I usually will relate to what they say. Like, I felt the same way or whatever. And then I'll see if they have questions, which they usually will. Sometimes they'll just skip to the questions, just FYI. And then at that point, that's my cue. So as soon as they ask a question, even if I know the answer, which at this point I do know most of the answers, but when you're new, you don't. And either way, it doesn't matter. So even if I know the answer, I say, that's a great question. And I am going to see if my friend Mark is available to hop on with us. When you're new, you can sincerely say, because I'm new and I want to make sure that you have the right information. And then, but hopefully you have set your third party up ahead of time with your schedule. So I'm going to back up a second regarding the logistics of this, because this sometimes hangs people up. What I do is I set up a time with my prospect or my guest, right? And I then text my third party ahead of time and say, can you be basically on deck around this time if it makes sense to bring in a third party. Okay. So that's how I do it, so that I have somebody set up. There are other scenarios that I'll get into if I have time, but that's the easiest one. And then if the person is negative, then I will text Mark and say, no go, thanks for being available or something, right? Otherwise, getting back to the script in the moment, I say that I'm going to bring on this person. I usually, and then this is where you customize it to the person that you are speaking to and the person you're bringing on. So let's say the person that I'm speaking to, the prospect, is a freedom-oriented person. I might say, Mark is totally on the same page with us. I met him through a local medical freedom organization, and he's really knowledgeable about what's going on in the world today. And then this is really important. I do not give them really an opportunity to object. Okay. It's not, let's set up a 3-way call, because most people will say no to that. But if I just say, I'm going to see if my friend Mark or my colleague Mark or my mentor Mark, not my upline Mark, okay, is available, and also set it up in your verbiage so that you're doing them a favor, right? So if it's because I'm new and therefore I want you to get the right information, that's a great reason. If that's not true, or they don't actually ask a question, another option could be, I just think you'd really enjoy hearing his story, or I think you guys would really vibe, or whatever your verbiage, however you talk to your people, right? Okay, so that's how I do it on a Zoom. Then ideally, I've told Mark about the person ahead of time. If I haven't, then when he comes on, I say something about the person to Mark so he knows some context. It's helpful to your third party for them to know what your guest has seen, what information they've seen. Okay. And then usually I also will say something positive about the guest, right? So we're edifying everybody. Edifying is like setting each other up to really respect and trust each other. And then I introduce them and I mute and Mark takes over, or whoever. I do not speak again until I'm invited to speak again. That's really important. The reason being, if I interrupt Mark, then my guest might think, oh, Mark doesn't really know what she's talking about because she had to jump in, right? Or they might start interrupting, and it just can get kind of chaotic. I don't like chaos on my three-way business calls. Okay, so that's the way to do it on Zoom. On the phone, it's pretty similar. I do this often for follow-up calls, for example. Like, let's say I had a friend watch something and then they have questions. Then I'll say something like, great, let's get on the phone. And then I'll do a very similar maneuver, so to speak, where I'll just say, I'm going to get my friend Danielle on to answer that question for you. And then I'll say, hold on a second. Then I do the third party conferencing. I bring Danielle on. Again, ideally, I've already told her about the person, but if I'm doing this on the fly and I haven't, then I will very briefly tell her about the person. Not too long, because the other person's on hold, right? And then I patch them in, and I don't at that point need to reintroduce. I usually will say, I've already told you each about each other, so Danielle knows she's been edified. That's important. And then I mute. So, and if you have to sit on your hands, sit on your hands. And just honestly, part of the reason I still use third party, even though I'll be 4 years in 7K in January, is because it works. So even a few weekends ago, I did a bunch of back-to-back presentations, and I have a bunch of people looking at things over email, and I had some people come, to the presentations, and Mark came on as third party for some of those. Guess which ones have taken action? Mostly the ones who were on live with me and Mark. because third party works. And I'm not a psychologist, even though I am pretty into the way people think and stuff. But I think there are psychological reasons for it. I'm not going to get into that. Also, you can definitely do it on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or whatever. And it's always a good idea. Here, this is really important. The other thing is, if for some reason you strike out, like let's say you have an appointment with somebody and you just can't get a live human third party, then my cheat for that is the FAQ videos on besttrainingtips.com. So I'm going to show you where those are. And so let's say you're on besttrainingtips.com, which is the training site that Mark created for us. You go here to FAQ, or if you're using this menu, it's not giving me the vertical menu, but there's a vertical menu over here as well if you're on your phone on the left side. But if you go to FAQ and then scroll down and you have FAQs for multiple, my time is almost up, for multiple categories. So I would recommend, well, actually, if you're new, you don't actually even need to familiarize yourself with this, because when you have a third party on, like Mark or me or Kathy or whatever, sometimes they will use these to answer your guests' questions. So then you can see how it works. However, that being said, you also can start to familiarize yourself with them. And for example, just go in here. That one's really long, so you're not going to do that on, but people ask this a lot, spot price, or am I getting it at market price or whatever? So then I'll say, that's a great question. Let me give you a chance to hear from one of our co-founders, because he answers it really well. And then I will do a screen share and I will literally stay on the Zoom with the person and go through that video. If I'm on the phone with them, I will just send it to them. And ideally, you can do it in real time and say, I'm sending you this 5-minute video. Call me back when you've watched it. Okay. So those are just some basics. My time is up. I want to be respectful of your time and the next person coming in. I hope that's helpful. And I really recommend that you give yourself tons of space to not feel like you have to know everything, and just trust the system and trust your third party, because it works. That's it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Annie. That is pure gold, everybody. I hope you're all listening to this, because sincerely, it works. And I mean, I'll attest to that many times over. I've sat down and done a presentation myself. I got done feeling all good about me. It's like, boy, I nailed that. This guy's in. And as soon as I got done, he goes, wow, it looks pretty good, but there's no way I could do what you just did. And I was like, oh, and it was like Fred Flintstone shrinking down to that big. That's what I felt like right after that. But I have to tell you, this is awesome stuff. And thank you so much, Annie. That is pure gold. All the stuff you're getting here today, everybody, is stuff people would pay a lot of money to get, and you're getting it for free. And it's all because we all want to work together as a big collaborative unit. And I will tell you, it's we can all win together. So with that, I'm going to step aside now. I'm going to bring on a gentleman I have tremendous respect for. This gentleman here is our Chief Sales and Marketing Officer. His title has changed into all these different things over time. I had to nail it down and make sure I had it right, but he runs the show. In other words, he runs our marketing department, runs so much, and I've got a ton of respect for him, because he's a genuinely good person who cares about the people in the field. And so with that, I'm going to step aside and bring on Mr. Blake Davis. Please, everybody, wave your hands, whatever, because we got you all muted, but give it up for him. Blake, I'll hand it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Good morning / afternoon, everybody, depending on where you're at in the country. Looks like you guys are having some fun this morning. Put in the chat if you guys have learned something already. I just listened to Ann, and I learned a couple things in the couple of minutes I was listening to her. So, OMG, yes, I love that. Who was that? OMG, yes, I love it. That's good. Well, congratulations, you guys, to all of you for showing up today. Because guess what most other people are doing in the world on a Saturday? They're not thinking about their business. They're not thinking about this. They're actually really happy. In fact, most people in the world, just think about this, most people in the world, last night at 5 o'clock, they left their job and there was one thing that they were looking forward to all week, and it was last night at 5 o'clock. They started Monday morning and they said, oh my gosh, I can't wait until Friday at 5. Has anyone ever felt that before? Maybe you feeling that, put yes in the chat. Maybe if you're feeling that right now, maybe you're in a job that you don't love and that's what you're thinking about. But the cool part is, if that's true for you, you said, hey, what I'm actually excited about is Friday for 5, not because I'm gonna go drinking with my buddies or because I'm gonna go party with the girlfriends or whatever you know most people like to do on the weekend. It's because most of you said, I can't wait till Monday at 5 or Tuesday at 5 or Wednesday at 5 because I get to go make a couple phone calls or I get to do a little bit more and work on the thing that I'm actually dreaming about. Put yes in the chat if that resonates. That's cool. So all of you are top tier in my opinion because you're thinking that way. Most people in the world aren't thinking that way today. They're literally just letting the waves of the ocean push them wherever they may. That's what's happening in the world for most people. But you guys are trying to be intentional. You're trying to actually do something different with your lives. And so for that, I congratulate you. Thanks, Mark, for putting this together. I hope you guys understand the leadership that you have on this call. I see 3 or 4 on the screen right now. And there's probably more on the call. I haven't scrolled through everybody. But I'll tell you, the leadership of Mark and Danielle is second to none. And so thank you both for... Look, it takes leadership to put something like this together, right? Do you guys agree with that? It takes real leadership. It takes forethought. It takes actually caring for all of you to do it. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't take the time. Because I'll tell you firsthand experience, these things are not easy. Okay, and this was kind of last minute, I understand, but these are not easy to put together, to promote, to coordinate. Mark was probably on the phone or text all day yesterday trying to coordinate with everybody that he was going to have on this morning. So for that, I thank and applaud you, Mark. Really appreciate it. So look, I want to just hit on something really quick today that it's actually it's perfect timing for it. So last Monday, the email that we sent out, kind of the reminder email we send out for the Monday night call, it was there was 100 days left. So that day we sent the email out, there was 100 days left until the end of the year, right? 100 days left. So I just want to see in the chat, okay, so that means 2024 is almost completely gone. That's pretty unbelievable, right? Every year I click into the new year and I'm like, I have to start writing it, you know, the new number at the end, and I always mess it up for about a month. But it's amazing because we're almost in October of 2024. So put in the chat for me, what are some of the goals that you, and it doesn't have to be 7K related necessarily, okay? It's nice if it is. But what are some of the goals? Just put one goal that you had in January of 2024, and then put if you have achieved it, or no. Let's do this. Put yes if you're still working on it. Put no if you've given up the goal. This is going to be interesting. Yes, lots of people still working on them. That's good. That's good. I love it. Yes. In progress. Good. There's no no's. There's no brave soul saying, yeah, I gave up on that one. Giving up. There was one. Good. That's true. You tell the truth. I like that. No, the reality is most of you probably had lots of goals walking into the new year, which is great. And there's some of them you're probably still working on, which is great. But some of them you probably said, you know what, I kind of given up on it, or I put on the back burner, or whatever else. And sometimes you have to do that because you realize you try to eat an elephant in one bite in January. Is that true? Like that happens to me sometimes, right? And so what I love about this conversation is there's like lots of ways we could go here, and we could spend 3 hours talking about it. And so goal setting is important, yes. Being intentional about your goals is extremely important, because your goals, whatever goals you determine you want to run after, will determine the actions that you take every day if you're serious about them, which will ultimately determine what? the results that you end up getting, right? Which ultimately ends up in what? The life that you end up living. So goals are extremely important. But here's what happens, you guys. So in January 2024, we feel like, man, we got to go. It's a brand new season, and I got to hurry and do this, and I'm going to work hard on it, right? But guess what? We're in October, and how many of you still feel that way? By the way, I'm not trying to call anybody out. This is human nature, right? How many of you still feel the same urgency, the same zeal that you felt in January? Pick a goal, right? In January, how many of you still feel that today? Yeah, don't say October yet. Okay, fair enough. A couple days out. A couple days out. I do. Good. If you do feel the same zeal, it's because you've got a big why behind it, right? You got big reasons for doing it. So my wife and I, this is what I want you to think about today, you guys, is just the urgency you're putting on what you actually want in your life, okay? So urgency happens in a couple of different ways. But my wife and I last night, I pivoted. Someone said I pivoted. Do you know what? That sometimes takes the most courage and the most effort, and sometimes that is the absolute best thing to do, is to pivot, right? So last night, my wife and I, we try to go on a date every week, and so we get done with dinner, and the weather in Idaho in October is like just gorgeous. Okay, just a second.
So the cat had it.
Oh, okay. Hey, can I tell you? Can you tell me after? I gotta look. I'm on the call with all these people. Thank you, buddy. Sorry, he's 5. He wasn't gonna leave me alone until I addressed it. So, thank you for the patience. So we go on a date, right? In October, the weather here is just absolutely gorgeous, and it's like someone actually said to me last night, man, this is like, or yesterday, this is like the 3 days, these 3 days are the reason I live in Idaho, right? It's true. So we get done with dinner and I'm like, hey honey, let's go on a walk. She said, I love it, right? And so we're downtown, we're in Idaho Falls, and some of you have been there in October, so you know what I'm talking about. And so there's like a nice river walk. Anyway, so we go walk down along the river, and she says, man, I just love this time of year. I said, me too, it's my absolute favorite. I said, why do you love it? And she says, because you just don't know how many days you have left. I'm like, that's really profound, honey. That's really, really profound. She's like, it's just so exciting, right? And it's like springtime too. It's like every time you get a good day in the springtime in Idaho, you're like, I got to go take advantage of it because tomorrow might be rainy, or it might be snowing, or it might be, you never know what. Right? It might be 30 degrees. And she's like, it's the same in the fall. Every time there's a good day, and every day that's good, it's like, I have got to take advantage of it, because I see Diane Graber on the screen. Diane, put in the chat what happens any given moment in October or November in Idaho or Montana. Wait for this. Snow. That's right. And am I going to go on a nice, lovely river walk with my wife in the snow? Probably not. She's not down for that, right? And so all of a sudden, fall, you guys, and around here, the farmers, it's like they have waited all season for now. They have worked their butts off from March when the snow melted, and they've watered, and they've weeded, and they've done all the stuff, right? So that they can take advantage now. And if you're a farmer, or if you know the process, you understand that each crop comes with its own things. It's got to be dry, it's got to be wet, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. And so the farmers around here, you can actually feel it. It's a palpable urgency from the farmers because they have worked so hard for now. And if it snows, they're done. If it rains too much, they're done. If it gets too cold, they're done. The season's over, right? And so I just want to I've framed that up for you a little bit. There's lots of things that force urgency in our lives, right? So the weather is forcing urgency in this scenario. Every day, my wife and I are like, hey, what are we going to do today to take advantage? Right? We had that conversation last night actually about what we're going to do today to take advantage. And sometimes it's like, man, sometimes it's like I get to go play golf because I love golf and I get to go have fun. And there's other days like today where I'm out working on our yard because my wife and my kids feel like they want grass. Big ask, I know. I'm like, you don't need grass. It's fine. Rub some dirt in it. How are we going to do that if we have grass? But you see my point. Today, I would much rather be golfing. Okay? I know you guys, I'm like water skiing here. Like I'm on the top of the thing and we're going fast. So you guys are just going to have to make the connections that apply to your life here, right? And to your business. But for me today, this is actually a little nugget. So in taking advantage of these nice fall days, I would love to do it by golfing. That's like my favorite thing in the fall here in Idaho. It's 70 degrees, 65 degrees, and it is perfect. No wind. It's unbelievable. Okay? But today, I'm not spending it golfing. Today, I'm spending it on a little tractor driving around in circles in a dirt pile, trying to get the rocks out of it because that's all we have here in Idaho. And so that we can put some sprinklers in, so that we can plant some seed, so that next spring, when the snow melts, my wife and kids can have what? Who's going golfing in 30 minutes? Madiba? Oh, if I could be there in 30 minutes, I probably would, buddy. Yeah, honeydew jobs. Someone said honeydew jobs. But guess what? Yeah, it is a honeydew job because they want grass. And guess what? I kind of want grass too, but I don't care when I get grass. It's not urgent to me. Like really, I really don't care when I get grass. But my wife and kids, it matters to them, right? And what do I love? Do I love the grass? Do I love my wife and kids? Yes. So today, I'm spending one of the precious moments that I have in fall in Idaho doing something that I really don't want to do for people that I really love. And am I deep down okay with it? Completely. I am completely okay with it because this is the work. This is what creates results. This is what I know is that golfing isn't going to get, that's not being intentional. That's just having fun, right? Golf today wouldn't be intentional for me. Golf today would be fun. What would be intentional for me in getting the results that I actually want to get out of my life is working on the yard so that we can have grass so that next summer I can see my kids run around in it. And I can hear them scream and play. Right? So that in 20 years from now, I can look at the grass and I can say, man, that work on the 28th of October, on a perfect day in fall when I could have been golfing, that work was so freaking worth it. Does this make sense? Look, and it just so happens that's happening today, right? But this is the reality of every day for you. You have an opportunity to be intentional about the work you are doing. You have an opportunity to be intentional about the results that you want. Okay? I'm going to go backwards for a minute. You have the opportunity to truly design your life, right? And sometimes seasons in your life make things more urgent than others. I'm seeing Maureen on the screen, and I know what she's been dealing with for the last 2 months with a granddaughter, right? And so she's had some major urgency, and her life has shifted a little bit. Seasons make that happen in our life. But guess what? Most of the time when summer's happening or winter's happening and we're deep in a season, we forget to be intentional. Right? We forget. And then we make the seasons of life force us to do it. And what I'm proposing is that all of you today listening, that all of you sit down and you get really, really intentional with your next 100 days. You get really intent. I'm not talking about January 1. I'm talking about the next 100 days. It's really the next 90. It's almost perfect. The next 2 days, 93 days until January 1. Because that's a season. It's a season that shouldn't be wasted. It's a season that you can define. It's a season that you can decide what you want to do with. And the results may not happen in the next 93 days that you're wanting. Now, some will. Some results will definitely happen if you do intentional work, right? Today I'm going to get rocks out of my yard, but am I going to have grass? Not yet. That's a step, right? But the work I'm doing today will lead to the next, to the next, to the next. If you have an opportunity to be really intentional about what work you're doing in the next 92 or 93 days to set up what you want in 2025, which ultimately leads to what you want in 2026 and 27 and 28 and 35 and 42, right? But the next 93 days matter. Today matters. And it doesn't mean you can't go play golf once in a while. That's not what I'm saying. But what it means is that you're really intentional on when you're doing the work that needs to be done. And when it comes to your 7K business, I'm telling you right now, we dream about the results. We dream about them. But just like anything else, sometimes the grind of the day, I just don't really want to do it. And so that's why I'm asking you to be really, really clear on why it is you're doing it. Because again, I don't care about the grass. I really don't. I'll go to a golf course if I want grass. But what am I doing it for? Something bigger than me, something different, something that isn't for me. But I'm going to get benefits? Sure I am, right? But it's for my wife and kids. So that being said, you guys, just know that we love you. I mean, we're working every day on the corporate side. You guys are the real heroes. You're out busting your butts trying to get your dreams. And we know how hard that is in this business sometimes. I say hard. It's just, it can be a grind, right? It's simple. It's not hard in that way. It's super simple. But sometimes it's just, you got to get the gumption and the motivation to go do it. And you got to have the drive to go do it. We know how hard that can be. Okay. And we know how sometimes discouraging it can be because you're pushing and pushing and pushing. But what we also know is that in that grind, there's magic. In that process, there is a massive, massive prize. And it's that you will find yourself, you will understand yourself, you will get better, you will be better, which will lead to you having more, being able to do more, and ultimately get the life and the results that you want to get. So just know that we truly do believe in you. We're working very hard every day on this side to try to make things better and more simple for you to do the work that you're trying to do. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Will we ever be? Absolutely not. But are we going to grind it out with you to figure out what things can work better? For sure we are. And that's what we're doing. So that said, just know that this is on behalf of me, for sure. But also, I think you guys heard from Jason already this morning. He probably said it, but this is on behalf of the founders and the board and everyone at corporate. We really do love you. And we think about you, and we're working for you every single day. So that said, back to you, Mark. Thanks for putting this call on, buddy.
Hey, thank you, Blake, so much. I have to say, everybody, we got a chance to spend a week with Peyton, who is one of Blake's kids, and just complete trust. Puts his son on a boat to go down the river with us, and we all got a chance to just bond, and that's the family atmosphere you have here. You don't find that in a lot of other companies. And so just want to say hi to Peyton for us, Blake. Tell him we're thinking of him. Your whole family. We love you guys.
I will do that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And I have to tell everybody, I grew up in a middle-class family, and everybody loved their lawns. I just want to let everybody know that, I think it's important. But anyway, next person that I'm going to invite on is I got to tell you, she's amazing. If it was not for her, we would not be here today. And I mean, she's just got a heart of gold, and her background really helped us to have faith that we were making the right decision. And I know she's on a time schedule, so I'm going to get myself quickly out of the way and hand it over to Kathy Guzzo. Please give it up for Kathy.
Oh, thank you, Mark. It's an honor to be here. I love you guys. Blake, I mean, just the heartfelt leadership that comes from the founders and the corporate staff all the way down to leaders like Mark and Danielle. It's woven into the very fabric of what we do every day, and that makes it super special. This isn't just anything ordinary. It is extraordinary because of that love component, and it's real. It's genuine. First time I heard you say, Blake, we love you guys on the corporate call, I go, gosh, that's strange, but it felt right. It felt real, you know? Yeah, I don't use that term lightly, and I know that it's not used lightly here either. So it's sincere and it's meant. So thank you for that, Mark. It's been an amazing journey. Mark and I shared, we were talking yesterday just briefly, and I am on kind of a time crunch. I've got another Zoom going on. So, but I wanted to share something with you. We talked about this, and it's so simple. It's so simple. It's how we started. It was before we had any of the systems in place. This is how we built the infrastructure for this amazing organization that's ripping and running now. And it's so simple. It's just comprehend this, because it's before we had the peak video, before we had a lot of the great tools that we've got in place, the vault, you know, all the extra stuff. So imagine this, what it takes: passion, desire. We've got that. We've got something we want to share. And what does it take? A free Zoom account. Okay, that's it. And learning how to share your screen. Because literally how we built this in the beginning was we would call people that we knew and we go, oh my gosh, Blake, I'm super excited. I just got involved with something. I need you about 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes max. Do you have 30 minutes you can hop on my Zoom with me? You got to see this. Well, what is it? It's gold and silver, but can you hop on my Zoom? I want to share this with you. So get him on your Zoom. And when I've got Blake on my Zoom, I'm going, hey, Blake, if I can, I'm going to grab one of my buddies I'm working with here. So I would love for you to meet him. And I want you to hear his story about what's going on. So what happens is I start the Zoom. I've got my guest on. It's Blake this time. And then in the background, I'm texting Mark. I'm texting Curtis. I'm texting Maureen. Hey, I need a three-way. Can you hop on my Zoom? I'm 15 minutes in. We had a 27-minute video, I think, at the time. And we would play it. Hit play and get out of the way. That's our motto. Don't be the message. Be the messenger. Just show the tools, right? That's duplicatable. So then we would text. And so the beauty of, as soon as we got off, there would be three of us. Me, my new guest, and my third party. And then that's when the magic would happen. And of course, I'm texting behind the scenes while I'm watching, acting like I've never seen it before, just like we've been taught to do. And then, you know, I'm going, this is my friend from high school, or this is, we've grown up together, or we did business together in the past, some little background on it. And I'm going, oh my gosh, Blake, I'm super excited. I could grab Mark real quick. He's very busy, but he's had some amazing success with this, and he's been able to accumulate some gold and silver quickly and easily. And, it solved a lot of problems. I just love to introduce you guys. Blake and I went to high school together, and we're old buddies, and I just wanted you guys to connect. And then, as you heard Laura say, mute, get out of the way, and let the magic happen. And then what I have done is I've done the peak. That was my phone call. I've done the present. That was the video that we've got, the tool. I've done the third party. I've done a three-way Zoom right then and there. Boom, boom, boom. I've run all three bases. Now, that's not always appropriate for everybody, but the ones in your phone, the ones that are your real warm market, the ones you call if you had a crisis, if you had a flat tire and you needed somebody to come get you in the middle of the night. Those are the people you do that with. And the people that, if you're having a great thing in your life happen, a celebration, you call those folks too. Those are the ones, the ones. But that's how we started. It was as simple as doing that. I can tell you, we laughed about it, because how many of those right then and there answer question? Well, what else do you have any other questions for me? What else do you need to know to get started? Boom, they're ready. It was so fun because, we step out of the gate, we run the bases, and we slide into home over and over again. So I just want to encourage you, don't forget the simplicity of taking control. Then you're not chasing someone. Then you're not running them down, and you made an appointment and you can't get to them. And all of that is taken out of this scenario. And I love using the Zooms that we do, like mine on Thursday night, and you other leaders do on this platform right here, as another tool. But taking charge of this first exposure, yes. And I'm heartbroken when I see the disappointment when people are inviting somebody to a Tuesday night or Wednesday night or Thursday night. My guest didn't show up. Take control of the situation. Pull it, get them on Zoom, share your Zoom, and just share this great information. But that's what I wanted to share with you, because you've taken all of those pieces, put them all together. Now we have the great peak video, and I want you to get that out where you can get your coin and get that ball rolling. But in certain cases, you can do it all at the same time. And even if you've done the peak video and you're getting your 25 and you're getting your coin, you can use that method as your presentation. Hey, do you have 15 or 20 minutes? I want you to hop on my Zoom right now. I want to share this with you. You can let the peak do its work that magic, and then bring them into the present live on your Zoom, take control of it, and then do your third party right there. But that's what I wanted to share real quickly with you guys. And thank you for letting me be a part of this. This is amazing. I can't wait to watch the replay. And thank you, Mark. Back to you.
Thank you, Kathy. I just want to do another shout out to every single speaker and trainer and presenter here today, because you are all outstanding. I'd put anybody in front of you all and they'd get trained so efficiently. So thank you all for that incredible stuff. And we are down to our final speaker, but it's not last but not least, because she's outstanding. When I first heard her speak, she laid it right out, and it was amazing because it aligned 100% with the philosophies that I had always agreed with. And Kathy, I can't believe I didn't pin you on that. I hope it comes out okay on the recording. I forgot to pin you. I feel so bad. I should have had you front and center on that whole video. But so I know she had to hop off, but this is Diane Graber, and I have to tell you, this lady has it down. She knows this stuff cold, and she's gonna, because a lot of people are sitting there listening like, okay, this all sounds great, but how do I take that first step? What am I going to say to get people to this? And sometimes people think you need to know the whole story and you need to spew everything. But I have to tell you, there's no better trainer, in my opinion, than someone who can lay it out in terms of how to get people to the table than Diane Graber. And I'm going to hand it over to you, Diane. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much. That was awful nice of you. Can you hear me okay? We're good? All right. Well, first and foremost, appreciate you putting this together. Look at how many people in an impromptu Super Saturday you brought together. That's exciting in and of itself. And Blake, what you just said about being intentional, okay? Everything that we do that's worthwhile in our life, we've intentionally done it. Think about that. Everything that's really worthwhile in your life, you've put some effort and some energy to it to make it happen. Your 7K business is no different. Now, what we need to talk about today is that simple invitation to get someone to just look. Think about this. If no one's looking, no one's buying, right? But if you have the numbers, if you're really starting to rally some numbers, the numbers will be in your favor. The more people you can expose, the better your odds are of someone that's been exposed to actually becoming a member for you. So the name of the game is expose as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. And the tools we have to do that with today, I can tell you, we're not the tools we had to do that with day one whatsoever. But right now, today, with this new share link and these peak videos, everyone that's on this call should get off today, get out the list that Maureen was talking about, go through the list, figure out who you can contact today and ask them if they have just a couple of minutes. Now, I personally, when I call someone, my verbiage is, hey, listen, I'm onto something I think you might be interested in, that you might find a ton of value in, like Brad and I have. Do you have about 5 minutes right now? And if they say yes, then I'm going to say, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to push a video into your phone. It's less than 2 minutes. You take a look at it and I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Now I set the time to call them back, right? So I don't start out with the whole, I don't know if this is for you or not. And I know a lot of people train in that respect, but I personally think when someone says, I don't know if this is for you or not, but get the information to make a decision, it's too easy to have the decision that it's not for me. You've opened that door, in my opinion. So I go in with the intention of, listen, I'm on to something that I think you're going to be interested in, that you're going to find a ton of value in, just like we did. So it sets them in that frame of mind that I need to look at this and I need to see what she's talking about, right? Now, 4 words that I want you to write down. If you're taking notes, write down these 4 words. If I, would you? Okay. So if I sent a video to your phone, would you take the time right now to open it and look at it real quick? Okay. If I saved a seat for you in a Zoom room to share some really valuable information with you, will you show up so I don't waste that seat? If you're having an in-home wealth strategy, you might say, listen, I'm having a get together, not a meeting, a get together. Keep that in mind. Meetings and root canals, same category. Nobody's going to meetings, right? I'm having a little get together at my house on Friday night. I got a guy coming in from Wyoming that's sharing some really good information about my new business venture. I just want to share it with you. I think you're going to find value in it. So if I saved a spot for you at my house, will you show up? Okay, great. Then I'm saving one of these spots for you. And I told my friend who's coming from Wyoming that I was going to have X amount of people in the room. So don't let me down. All right. And I lay it out on them. It's like, look, I'm going to save this spot for you. I want you to not let me down and show up. Right. The biggest thing, folks, is to get them to accept the invitation. And the only way they're going to accept the invitation is if you say, if I did this, would you do that? Okay. Now, here's the other thing. If you are a leader and you're doing an in-home wealth strategy, pay attention to the conversations in that room. Everybody's going to be chitty-chatting amongst themselves. You be the one that has one ear all around that room listening to these conversations. Because what's going to happen is you're going to find people talking about what situations they have that need resolutions. And all of a sudden, you're that resolution. So if I'm listening to somebody say, you know what, I am overworked, underpaid, I never get to spend any time with my kids, I am so over the stinking job that I got, right? If I'm listening to that in that room, I can go to that person and I could say, listen, if I could show you a way with my help that we could maybe get you out of that job and actually creating some income on your own time in your own manner, would you at least give me a few minutes to talk you through what our model looks like? You can get one-on-one conversations with people out of that room, and you'll know exactly what their trigger is that will put them in your business. For example, if I call someone and I say, okay, Maureen, I'm on to something I think you might be excited about. You're going to see a ton of value in it like we did. If I buy a cup of coffee, will you meet me at the City Brew at 2:00 today? If she says yes, when I get there, okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hug on her and love on her and, tell her I'm happy to see her. And she's going to ask me, what the heck is going on with you? What are you doing? My next move is to drop coins in her hand and just look at her face and go, that's what I'm all about right now. And I'm promising you this, you're going to find a ton of value in what we're doing. Then my next move is, Maureen, let me show you how simple this is. I'll take my phone or my tablet or whatever I took with me to that meeting. I push play on the video and I hand her my phone. And I just sit back and watch the magic happen, right? So she's had silver in her hands. She's lit up about that. And now I'm showing her the video, right? And then I sit back and I say, what questions do you have? Because I know I had plenty starting out. And the reason I want you to say, I know I had plenty, is because it gives people permission, if you will, to ask the questions. Some people will watch a video and you say, okay, what questions do you have? And they're like, I shouldn't have any questions. I just watched this video 20 seconds ago. What questions would I have, right? Makes them feel silly. But if you say, I know I had plenty, it unleashes them to ask these questions. Now, your best move at that stage of the game is, you know what? That's a great question. Pretty sure I can answer it, but I know for fact Mark can. So let me just patch him in real quick here. Well, I'll just put him on speakerphone, put him on the table, and we can ask him the questions together, right? There's a system and a process to all of this. And in my opinion, it all starts with that exposure, that first exposure. So if I, would you? Now, if I'm sitting down with Maureen at the coffee shop and she says, you got to see my grandkids. You got to see the pictures of these children. And I only get to see them 3 times a year. They're so far away from me that I only get to visit them 2-3 times a year. Guess what my if I would you will be? If I could show you a way that you could get to those kids maybe 2 more times a year, why locking arms with me and let me help you make a little side hustle income here? Would you lock arms with me and let me teach you how to go do this? Right? I found her hot button. Her hot button was the pictures of the grandkids she was scrolling, right? She wants to get to those kids more often than twice a year. And if I help her create an income, she's going to be able to take that income and solve her situation. Folks, we have to solve people's situations. You got to figure out what is it that's plaguing them? What do they want more of or less of in their life? And offer the solution. And the solution is, let me lock arms with you, teach you what you need to do, involve you in this incredible community that you can find people that you will connect with all over the planet now, right? Guys, it doesn't need to be me that teaches my team what to do all the time. It doesn't need to be you that teaches your people what to do on a consistent basis. Plug them into somebody that they resonate with, right? Some of the gentlemen that are in my business don't do as well with me as they do with Mark. They identify with Mark way better than they do with me. And that's okay. Do not take offense to that. Be a dot connector and connect those dots together so that somebody does have the best opportunity to see what the overall program is here that we offer 7K. One last tip, and then I'm done. Here's what I've been doing on closing calls with people that are having me do third-party validation. I'm talking about the simplicity of our program, how we have people that come here that are simply buyers, and then we have people that come here that want to build an income with us. Doesn't matter which category you fit into. We're going to offer you 3 platforms. Those 3 platforms are 7K, Stack and Sell, and Sound Money. 3 platforms for one money, one time. You get full access to everything. That's $5.99, one fee, one time, and you're off to the races. You can do whatever you want with this membership. Think about this, folks. With those 3 platforms, they can buy, they can sell, they can store, they can convert it back to cash, or they can earn it for free in some cases. Anything that you want to do with precious metals can be done within these 3 platforms. So that could be an if I would you. If I could show you a way that with 3 platforms that you get for one money, you can do anything you want to do with precious metals, would you at least take a look at the program and watch this short video? Again, if they're not looking, they're never going to be buying. You have to expose them, and you have to get a good, solid invitation to get them to do that. Please do not script yourself, though. Don't sit down with a written script and start reading to your friends. They're going to think we Amwayed you, okay? So you talk the way you normally talk to your friends. So if you normally get on the phone with your girlfriend and it's, hey, girl, what's up? That's exactly how you start that conversation to expose them to the information. Don't change who you are. Just be a better version of it with a little excitement, not that hair on fire. Oh my God, nobody wants that today. And share it. Don't sell it. Okay. Nobody wants to be sold anything today. Anything. I don't care what it is. They don't want to be sold. They want solutions, and they want somebody that's going to lock arms with them so they don't feel like they're doing it by themselves. That's your key. Okay. So thank you for having me here today, Mark. I appreciate you immensely.
Thank you so much, Diane. I have to tell you, everybody, this Super Saturday was final. I mean, it was really put together yesterday, candidly speaking. And so all of these trainers had no preparation time. They just came up here and spoke from the heart. There's nothing more genuine and real than that. And I mean, I just got to say thank you so much, Diane. Thank you, everyone, all of the trainers out there, and Blake and Jason for coming on and giving us the vision. Here's the key now, everybody. You take what you learned here and you don't just sit back and relax. You apply it. And you're going to make mistakes as you go, but you just go back and you analyze those mistakes and tweak them. The key mistake that you want to try and avoid is talking too much to get the appointment. That's all the stuff you've heard today. Think about this. How much did we teach you about silver and gold specifically? We didn't get into any of those details. We didn't get into any of the details of really anything that you'd have to know to go out there and do this effectively. It's your excitement. It's a transference of your enthusiasm. Apply everything you've learned here, everybody, and don't worry about making mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to feel like you said the wrong thing to somebody. big deal. Learn from it and get better. That's it. You sit there and dwell and beat up yourself. Give you one last story, then I'm going to close with a video. I was over in Hawaii and I sat down with this gentleman. He was in our business, and I said, "Why don't you go talk to this couple over here?" He's, "I really don't know what to say." I said, "Just try it." So he goes over and tries it, and they shot him down. And he comes back over there, and he's like all feeling down. And I'm like, "Why are you down?" He goes, "Well, they just shot me down." I was like, "You know what? They forgot about you the second you walked away from the table. So who cares what they thought at that time? You're the one continuing to beat yourself up. So just forget it. You learn from that, get better at it. And you'll find how much simpler it gets once you just start making those reach outs. That's why if you reach out and you work with your people to reach out to their first 5 people, by the time they get to their 5th one, they're going to feel comfortable to do it. If you say, go call your 5 people, they're not going to have any idea what to do. They're going to make mistakes on those 5 people, and they're going to keep repeating the same mistakes because they had no one to coach them. A lot of times they won't even get through 5. So take the time to work with your 5 people and just have fun doing it. As you heard so many people say here today, you have something unique. You can transform a lot of lives, including your own. But think about the lives you're blessing with others first, because they'll see if you're walking around with commission breath and you're just wanting something for yourself. So go out there with the idea that you're blessing others, and everything will come to you. So with that, I'm going to close with this final video. Hopefully this will inspire you. I love this video, but let's go out there and really make it happen, everybody. We have a few hours to close a business today. So today we can close off our business and help people get checks for next week. Then, of course, we have the event coming up here on the 26th. Go to your events tab in your back office and you can register for that. Make sure you do that. Let's show you this video. Thank you so much again to all of the trainers and all of you for committing to your futures today. And I'm just so proud to be a part of this and affiliated with each of you. You're part of our family. So with that, let's show you this and wrap up.